Robert Frost stopping by woods on a snowy evening. Robert Frost is an American poet, is known for his portrayal of rural life and also the simplicity of man very beautifully in his poems. There is always a conflict picturized, and of course, the conflict will be resolved by the end of the poem, or sometimes he leaves it to the audience. He was called the grand old man of American poetry, and he has won the America's greatest literary award, Pulitzer Prize, 4 times. Today we'll see Stopping by Woods on a Snowy Evening. Of course, here also, as I said earlier, there is a conflict between the call for beauty and call for duty. This is going on always in the mind of man, whether to admire nature or to attend on one's duty. And here, Frost, one evening, and he says, darkest evening of the year, he was standing in the woods, and it was between the downy flake and the woods, between the woods and the downy flake. And of course, he must have gone in his horse. His horse is the only companion, and he wonders that the horse may be thinking it's strange for the man to stand here between the woods and the downy flake, and the darkest evening of the year, where there is no farmhouse nearby. But what happens? He says, I think I know the neighbor, the owner of this woods, but he is in a distant village and he cannot see that I am watching his woods covered by snow. And then what happens? Beautifully, he personifies the horse. It has a harness bell. Harness is like blinders or the blinkers to make the horse attached to the cart. And it gives a shake to the harness bell, and it asks, he imagines, personifies the horse to ask him whether by mistake he has stopped there by the woods, because there is nobody there, no, not even any sound there except the sound of the harness bell and of easy wind and downy flake. And what happens? But he cannot continue his journey because the woods are lovely, dark and deep. The woods are lovely, dark and deep. Enjoys like anything the beauty of nature, but he is also reminded of his promises. I have promises to keep. So he is reminded of his promises, and he repeats that we must go back to attend on our duty. That is very, very important. The last 2 lines of the poem tells, the repetition of course, tells of his return to the call of duty. And miles to go before I sleep, and miles to go before I sleep. So he returns, he listens to the call of duty, and he returns. Very beautifully, a very short poem. It narrates this conflict is going on in the mind of everyone. We want to enjoy beauty, we want to enjoy woods, enjoy the downy flake and the sound of easy wind, but the woods may be very lovely, dark and deep, but we have to attend on our duty. Miles to go before we sleep. Sleep here conveys the message that before we die, we have to finish off all our duty, complete our duty. Very beautifully, first, in a very short poem, brings in a very great message that man must be able to complete his work, duty. Let's see the poem. Whose woods these are, I think I know. His houses in the village though. He will not see me stopping here to watch the woods fill up with snow. My little horse must think it here to stop without the farmhouse near. Between the woods and frozen lake, the darkest evening of the year, he gives the harness bells a shake to ask if there is some mistake. The only other sounds the sweep of easy wind and downy flake. The woods are lovely, dark and deep, but I have promises to keep, and miles to go before I sleep, and miles to go before I sleep. So very beautifully he brings out the beauty of nature, but it's very important that we have to attend on our duty. Natural visual image, the beautiful scenery demands man to admire the beauty, its beauty, but man must remember always that he has to keep up his promises, his duties. That's why he repeats the last two lines, in the last two lines, that miles to go before I sleep and miles to go before I sleep. So he decides to leave and attend on his duty. These two last two lines are supposed to be kept on the table of Jawaharlal Nehru, the former Prime Minister of India, first and former Prime Minister of India, just as a reminder that we must always attend on our duty. So let's also remember that we have to attend on our duty first, and enjoying beauty next. A very wonderful theme, in a very simple language, a simple poem. Stopping by woods on a snowy evening, Frost conveys this great message. Attending on one's duty is more important. Thank you one and all.